Welcome, everybody. My name is Paul Smyers. I am a practicing real estate agent in the beautiful Virginia Shenandoah Valley. And today I want to talk to people who are the first time homeowners, the first time buyers. Sometimes you're young people and sometimes you're older people. But buying a home or any kind of property is a very intimidating experience because honestly, you're thinking about putting out hundreds of thousands of dollars, making a 30-year commitment, signing your name on the bottom line, and oh my goodness. I had a family member many years ago when she bought her first house nearby, and she wrote me a letter. This was like 25 years ago. Oh my goodness, Paul. Oh, I'm so afraid. What did I do? I signed my name on a 30-year document. But I want you to understand, first of all, first, get yourself informed about the buying process and find a good agent, a buyer agent, someone who represents you. You see, in the real estate business, typically the default representation that an agent has is toward the seller of the property. So the seller of the property hires an agent to sell their property and they're going to pay a commission. So there's a confidential relationship between the client who's selling the property and the agent. What you need when you buy property, you need to have someone on your side, a buyer agent, who looks out for your interests and represents you. It's a little document you sign. I want so and so to represent me. I'm looking for a property, and feel confident because, for example, when someone signs a buyer agency with me, I also make a commitment. I'm saying I'm putting my name on the line too. I'm saying I'm going to commit myself to get the best deal I can in the specifications in the document that say I'm representing you, I'm looking out for your interests, and that's what a buyer agent does. Now, a few things people need to understand. The reason real estate is a different kind of a thing than just spending money, because I had an accountant, a teacher, long time ago, and she said, whatever you learn here, the difference between a cash or between an expense and an asset. Real estate is called real estate because it has tangible value. Now, when you buy something with tangible value, you're taking your cash and you're not just throwing it away on a vacation. You're putting that cash or money onto something that has value. And the hope is that whatever you buy with that money is going to be at least as valuable as your cash. Now, one thing to understand here is that a lot of people who become very wealthy understand that if you leave cash in a bank, it might be so-called safe there, but it's still sort of decreasing in value, and basically the bank's using your money to make other money. And if you have some savings set up, that's why investors and many families have made their most important gains in wealth through real estate, through their own home ownership. So when you go look for a house as a first time owner, feel very confident that you're going to spend some time thinking about what you're going to buy, and you're going to take confidently that money from the bank and whatever it is, the down payment or even the cash payment for the whole thing, and I'm going to confidently take it from my bank and put it over into something real like land. Now, real estate, as we know, can go up and down. It tends to increase in value, and there's a lot of cycles that affect the value of a home. But typically, people will buy a home and they sign a mortgage for 30 years or something, and they live there for a long time. And little by little, if they're living in an environment where the economy is kind of just going pretty well, and over a period of 10, 15 years, you're going to build up some equity in that house. So that means that your cash that you put out and all the money that you're spending is slowly actually increasing in value, is better than having it sit in a bank. Now, the thing is, when you buy a property and you have all that investment of your money into a tangible asset, now you have the responsibility of taking care of it. If you take care of a house minimally and just maintain it and everything, and it'll just keep its value going up, and the environment around here, the economy that you're in, will slowly increase and you'll get some equity. However, if you also go into a home or a property and say, I know exactly what I'm going to do, I'm going to do X, Y, Z in my home over a period of years. And besides the normal equity that you might be building up by just living there and paying your bills and everything, you can make additions or improvements or some kind of thing on your property that adds a lot of extra value. So the point I'm trying to say is when you buy a home, if you just do a lot of due diligence and you finally come to the conclusion, yes, honey, let's say you're in a partnership and you team or something, or maybe you're on your own, you say you can conclude your own research, say this is a wise investment, and I got a realtor on my side who's looking out for me and giving me honest information about the property, what his opinion is or her opinion, and then you just go confidently. Don't be afraid to sign on line, because the worst case scenario, and it happens in the real estate business, sometimes you have a situation where someone will sign a document and then 6 months later they get divorced, or something happens, someone dies or whatever, and then they have to change the whole plan. But meanwhile, if your money is actually going for something that not only increases in value with the equity, but you live there, you enjoy it, you take advantage, you get practical use of the property while you own it. And if you look at the mortgage statements over the years, it's kind of frightening. If you put down 10%, like the first payments that you made for 20 years or the first 10 years of your payments can like reduce the equity or reduce the loan just a little bit, because it's just the way the interest rates work. So that's why getting the right interest rate is important. Now, that reminds me of the subject of interest rates. Now, there's a lot of ways to deal with financing a property, and I won't get into all the details here yet, but there's a lot of other sources that you can find out about how to arrange the financing, whether different kinds of mortgages and short-term, long-term, and so on. But the point is that however you arrange your financing, make sure that the property that you're in, if it needs a little work, you get the work done. You start working on it right away. If it doesn't need any work and it's beautiful, then just keep maintaining it really well and just hold its value. And then I have seen a lot of really expensive homes that are frankly very, very boring. You walk in there, it's just like a giant, supersized Home Depot thing. It's just more of the same junk. So I've also walked into smaller homes and realized, man, these people love their home. They put so much effort into it, and everywhere you look is beautiful and tidy and everything. So it doesn't matter so much about the size of your home, but when you buy a home, think also about the resale value that someday you're going to sell. Maybe your kids are growing up and then now you need a bigger house. But let's say you buy a very popular version is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, because then you can have 2 or 3 kids and 1 room for the couple if it's a family, and then maybe some guest space and so on. You need 2 baths if you have multiple people, because 2 people can share 1 bath. But when you start to get 3, 4, 5 people in a house, 1 bath isn't really going to do much. Now, so think about carefully about what you're buying, that the resale value. If your family is going to grow and you say, okay, I'm going to buy this basic house for X dollars and I'm going to live there 10 years and I'm going to build up the equity and make it look really nice, and my investment and all the money I'm paying while I'm living there, I'm going to enjoy it. My family, my kids are going to get a little bigger, and then I'm going to go use the equity and have a financial plan so that then you say, okay, now I'm going to get a 4-bedroom house or something, with a nice yard. I want a dog now or something. So think a little bit about the strategy when you're a first-time buyer. What's your next term? Are you going to live in a house for 30 years, or is it some kind of job that you work for a corporation, you live in a cul-de-sac, you just do the basics, you maintain the household and whatever, and then maybe the next home you buy is that beautiful property. But sometimes the first property that people buy is just really basic. There are just really minimal, the lower end of the spectrum as far as financing and so on. But then the next home they buy is like a real step up. So have a little plan in your mind. Don't figure you have to buy the absolute dream house right now. You just got married. You got other things to think about. Don't waste your money on saying, hey, honey, we're all happy now. We just got married and let's buy the biggest house. And Then you get in there and all of a sudden you realize you have like no extra money for doing any of the fun things. You're just constantly maintaining your house. So again, first time buyers, be confident, be informed, have an agent on your side looking out for your interests, giving you some good advice. Agents are not there to tell you what to do. They say, here's the information, my professional opinion, what I think about it, you make your own decision. That's what I do. So I appreciate you watching. Please watch some of my other content. I try to enjoy bringing people together, and I'm basically a buyer agent most of the time here in Virginia. If you have a property to sell, I specialize in rural property, and I'd love to help you out because I get a lot of inquiries of people who are looking for property like the one you may own. So thanks again for listening, and hope you got something out of it. Please like and share.